Hello, today we're going to look at some more bluesy style licks. Got three examples to show you. Some very simple two-string things and some three-string licks as well. So the first one I'm going to show you is a blues lick in C. We've got C there, but we're going to use it here. So we're going to be on the 8th fret on the bottom E string. And the lick as you play it, 8th fret, 11th fret, 8th, 9th, 10th on the A string. We've got the 8th and the 10th on the D string. On the G string, you've got the 8th, 10th and the 11th. On the B string, you've got the 8th and the 11th. And on the E string, you've got the 8th and the 11th. So if I play that all together, you should have this. So that was example one, a simple blues lick in C. So you're almost taking the minor scale, pentatonic minor scale, which would be this, and you're adding where you would go straight here. You're adding. Okay, so there's your extra note there. So as we go up the scale, that's the note you would normally play. They're the notes you would normally play, and then we have this. Same as here. So that's the end of that first example. The second example is just using three strings, the top three strings. We're using the G string, B string and the A string. And the lick goes something like this. Okay. Okay, and we know that's in D. The reason we know is because that note there is the note that depicts what key we're going to be in, because it's D. Okay. All we're doing is we're using the first finger on the 5th fret, using the second finger on the 6th fret of the B string, and we're giving it a half bend. You can put, that's fine, but it doesn't really give it any character. So for this second example, and I'm doing an up pick there as well, but you can do a down pick. I do an up pick because then I can come straight in with a down. You can play this several ways. You can play it separately, or you can play so each note individually. So pick, down pick, and then you go into that half bend. And to finish that that complete lick or phrase, you have to really just play around with it. So take this, see what note you're finishing on here, and this note, We'll tell you where you can finish. So you could almost use it at the end of a song, you know. Easy as that. So just a quick recap: first finger, 5th fret. You could play it on the 7th fret. You could play it wherever you want to, but this is just the main pattern. First finger, 2nd finger on the B string on the next fret on the 6th, and you're just always going to leave that finger to where it is. Or you can play. Okay, that's the end of your second example, and the last one that we're going to have a look at now is just using 2 strings. We're going to take minor pentatonic scale. We'll start it from the 12th fret. This is just ideas for doing something a little bit more interesting than just playing. And we've already seen how we can put a blues slant on it by. You can do so many different things with it. Okay, but what we're going to look at is 2 string bends. First string, first finger, your top E. And I tend to use, you could use your little finger, but I like to keep the little finger. Well, it's because it's naturally not as strong a finger unless you've really worked. You might feel comfortable bending with your little finger. But in this instance, first finger here. That's a simple bend, okay, using the B string and the E string. So first finger, 12th fret E string. I'm going to use my 3rd finger on the 15th fret on the B string. And all I'm going to do is bend from this note up to that note, which happens to be E on the top E. Okay, so when you're bending it, you will hear, and this is a good way of making sure that you have the right sound. Don't rush into a bend, because you could have a whole overbend or not quite bent enough up. So you want to hear the note before you hear it. It's called aural perception. It's knowing where that note is and being able to hear. Okay, and you can do that by, if you just play both the notes at the same time, you can always hear the sound waves. Okay, well, you can hear the sound waves. So when you've got that clarity, then you know you've pitched the note correctly. And you can do a similar thing on the G and the B strings. And the way I use this, again, use the finger is comfortable for you. You can put your finger on the D string, and then you can on the D, on the D note on the B string. That's what I'm trying to say. And then on the G string, you want to put your finger on the A. And in a similar way, keep that finger down. And again, you're just doing a tone bend up. So you've got now that pattern you can now this time, rather than having a finger here, just change it to your first finger in the same way as you did this bend here. Do the same thing here. So it's still a tone. Keep that there. And you can hear it again. So what we can do now is we have and the final one that you can use, the final bend that you might want to have a go at, 15th fret. It's basically you're blocking that one string off, and then you're just moving this note. So you've got the G, your finger on the G here, and your finger on the D. So use your third finger on the E string, and perhaps use your second finger on the B string. Ring that note out, and then you've got another bend. So within that shape, you've got this, you've got this, you have this, and you have this. And there's nothing wrong with you bending the first, just bending that note up. And that's basically 3 examples that you've got: a blues lick in C, you've got an example of some licks on the top 3 strings, also on the G and the B strings, and lots of ideas for you to think about bends, think about your tone, you think about hearing the note before you play it, so when you actually hit that note you get it on a really good pitch, and you can hear the notes by when they ring true. Okay, that's the end of these examples, and I'll see you soon.